Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Amirul Mukminin, and for the tutorial of REM 317, I will be presenting to you regarding my topic, which is handing taking over of property based on Standard 3 of Malaysia Property Management Standards in relation of our Chapter 2 Roles of Property Manager. So, in this PowerPoint, I will break the standards into three sections, which is number 1, Malaysian Property Management Standards or MPMS, which in this case we will be using only standard 3. The second part is what to do as the property manager, and the third part is why do those steps need to be taken in relation to parts number 2. To be fair, this is a very simple standard, and I hope you would enjoy me explaining this standard to you. So, as an introduction, as I have tell you before, this standard or title is based on standard 3 of MPMS. So generally, this standard is very crucial for property manager to ensure all relevant assets, documents and records of maintenance and management of subject property are properly handled or taken over by the appointed property manager. That's about it for the introduction. Now, the second part, what to do as the property manager. This is a simplified version for me to explain to you in relation to Standard 3.2.0 Statements of Standard. So, in order to comply with the standard, a property manager is required to undertake the following steps based on 3.2.0. Okay, what is it? So, step 1 is the property manager has to prepare an intricate checklist ensuring successful handing taking over of the relevant items. For example, the assets, documents and records. That is a very general and basic step for the property manager. Now, for step 2, it is related to step 1, which the property manager need to double check all the items to be handed over successfully, including the financial records and audited account of the property. That's very simple, right? I hope you can catch up to me. Now, step 3, property manager shall carry out a general inspection to determine the current state of repair and condition of the building. This also includes the infrastructure, facilities, the maintenance. Any remedies need to be taken shall be inspected beforehand. So, in order to sum up and conclude everything about the inspection, a building condition report should be provided as the documented conclusion of the inspection. Now, for step 4, the property manager may provide advice and assist the client to review and make amendments to the documentation of mutual covenants, house rules, bylaws, or any related agreement. Basically, step 4 explains of the property manager working together with the client or the owner of the building to make changes of the agreement regarding the client and the occupants of the building, which includes everything, includes of the tenancy agreement, or maybe the bills, or maybe the fee and everything. So the last step of what to do as the property manager, step 5, is upon expiry or termination of the property management agreement, the property manager shall return to the client or appointed agent every assets, documents and records as handed to the property manager before. This step will be explained later in this slide. So, part 3, why do those steps need to be taken in relation to standard 3.3.0 explanations. So basically in this part, it will explain why those steps in part 2 very crucial for property manager to comply with the standard and to do basically as a property manager. So number 1, property manager needs to do those steps because proper documentation and records will assist the property manager in ensuring effective management of the property. This means if the property manager really make a checklist and double check all the important documents, everything will go smoothly in regards to the management and the progress of being a property manager and managing the building. So let's see number 2. It is important that the property manager receives the latest management and audited account to establish the opening balance upon taking over of the property. It is very related to number 1, which provides that everything will go as smooth and as satisfying. Number 3, building condition report. So as I mentioned before, a property manager needs to do a building condition report. So what is a building condition report? Building condition report describes the building condition based off all the relevant components of the building. It is useful for the planning, budgeting, and carrying out any works related to the building, including maintenance, repairing, refurbishment, and upgrading works towards the building. Now, number 4, if there is any serious defects suspected in any components of the building relates to the PCR, the client carry out respective specialists to investigate and propose remedial works. So number 3 and number 4, the reasons are very related, which to ensure that the building is in its utmost well condition. Now, the last reason behind those steps is it is to ensure the process of any works management or agreement to be done smoothly and safe. Besides, professional transition between old and new property manager, as mentioned as step 5 before. Upon expiry, termination of the property management contract shall be achievable. This means that upon the termination or expiry of a property manager, the next property manager will get to enjoy the smoothness of transition in regards to the standard 3 of MPMS.